tell you, boy. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm Dr. Joyce Christine Bailey Lewis, and always talking to you about our lives, past, present, and future. We have so much going on right now, I don't know where to begin, except I think I'll begin in the future and the past mixed together. When you look at everything that's going on, the fact that our president is leading the terrorists, and as we would say down south in olden times, sicken the dogs on the U.S. Capitol and the legislators who he knew were inside, and encouraging them to tear up our symbol of democracy. The President of the United States making all that happen. Well, I want to look at that for a moment, but to put it in context of the past. When you look at leaders who tried to destroy their own country and their own people, and you look at what happened to them, let's look at people as far back as Nero, fiddling while his nation burned, his city burned to the ground. Fiddling. We had that happen here recently. Trump was not fiddling, I don't think he even knows how, but he was sitting in the White House, in our White House, watching television and enjoying what the terrorists were doing to our nation's capital. Enjoying it. That's Nero fiddling while Rome burned. Let's look at Napoleon and how he met his Waterloo. Let's look at Hitler. He's a thing of the past, except we remember his deeds and we will never let them happen again. And now we get Trump. In our own country, tearing down our symbols of democracy, destroying the whole idea of democratic rule, flaunting his disrespect of the laws. But I tell you, we shall overcome. And you watch and see if you live long enough. You watch and see what happens to Trump. Now, everybody's afraid that he's going to keep this thing going and he's going to be a pain in the rear for a long time. But I tell you, there is a God who rules earth and heaven. And he only lets us have problems that lead us to a solution that we wouldn't have gotten to if the problems had not arose. We would never have thought that someone would destroy the Capitol from within. People in America would do that. We never would have thought a president would lead a mob and say, come on, I'm going to walk down with you, like he can walk 5 steps without losing his breath. But like any coward, he jumped in his car and went down and got in his house near the bunker. And he left all of the other legislators unprotected. And I'll tell you, it'll come out when all of this is investigated. But those policemen in Washington, D.C. were told to stand down. They didn't do everything they could. They didn't get band together and show up force. They helped those people, helped that woman down the steps, took selfies with those people. They were involved on their side. And it's like we say in Black Lives Matter, the police brutality is one of the most terrible things in this country today. And did you think that the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police would be different? I didn't. And I said 3 days before all this went down, I planned it all out in my head. I said, go and get the police from Maryland, from Virginia, and all the surrounding states and bring them in and have them ready. And have them all stand shoulder to shoulder and say, you will not destroy the democracy in this country. But they didn't do that. And I tell you, next time you get yourself in a problem, call me. Because I think about these things. And with 85 years of knowledge and wisdom, I can tell you a lot of things that you ought to do. And if you had done that, none of this vandalism would have occurred, and those people would be in jail already, and they wouldn't be out there looking for them. I'm going to tell you something else. Come the 21st of January, we're going to find every last one of them. And we're going to put them where they belong. And Trump said that anybody who destroys any federal anything should have 10 years. Now, he meant that for the Black Lives Matter people. If they were to destroy a federal building in Kansas, he didn't mean that for his people who destroyed the biggest building, biggest semblance of democracy in the world, that they would attack the Capitol. He didn't think that. He hadn't planned that far ahead. But now that they have attacked the Capitol, every last one of them, including that woman they helped down the street who can hardly walk, all of them need to get 10 years. Or more, especially those who broken those windows. They need to get more. And Trump needs to be put in jail right along beside them. Now, ask me to make him an orange jumpsuit. Now, we are going to have to recognize what this all ended up showing us. We black people have been saying all along that we were treated unfairly. We have been trying to tell you people that when it comes to the police, we don't get a fair shake. We have been trying to demonstrate that. Well, Trump demonstrated that. And if nothing else comes out of all this, we now see the difference between how black people are treated and how white people are treated when they go marching down the street. And we also see that white people are the worst of the lot. They go to destroy things. Timothy McVeigh went to destroy the federal building. Trump sent his people to destroy the Capitol. Now, I'd like to see him send them down to the White House with him sitting up in the Oval Office and see how fast he runs to the bunker. Sometimes things happen, and we think they're the worst things in the world, but when we turn around and look, we see that it's the way God moves us from one level to the next. And this is one time when levels are being moved as fast as we can keep up. Nobody else ever has to tell anybody in this country that black people are treated differently from white people when they go out in the street. And nobody can ever tell you that black people are in the main going out in the street to destroy things. They're going out the street to say what they believe in and make a difference. White folks go out to blow up stuff. And I'm going to end this by telling you why. White people are losing their whiteness. And they are afraid. They are afraid to live in the same condition that black people lived in. They're afraid that the nation is going to turn on them and treat them like they've treated us. But we haven't done that. We haven't done that when we were freed from slavery. We didn't come out and kill everybody. We tried to become part of this nation. And we tried to make our voices heard. And it's all these many years that we're still fighting. But this incident is going to propel us further in a real fast way. So sometimes we can look back on this and say, thank you, Trump, for showing the world what we've been trying to say all along. I've talked long enough for today. I'll be back with you next week, and we'll continue talking about this because in time, we're going to have to take a hand in what the changes are going to be and shape them for the benefit of all. God bless you. God bless Biden and Kamala Harris as they come aboard to change this country back. Not change it back. Take that away. Change it so that it moves forward. Because we don't want to go back to where we were. We want to go forward. Thank you. Now I want to make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go to your podcast and look for Daily Sparks with Dr. Angela and find the link to my interview, My Ancestral Voices, and listen to me relate issues from the past, the present, and the future to provide answers for today's living. Also, you can purchase my novel, My Ancestral Voices, on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Google Play, and Apple Tunes. I'm trying to get that book to sell at a cheaper price because I don't think it should be $30. I think it should be available to everyone. God bless you and keep you in my, I'll keep you in my prayers, and you keep me in yours.